Hi guys, before I reflect on my virtual study trip, which I did um, at the master's program at the MCI, I want to say a big thank you, especially to Miss Mitra Leitner, Miss Haselwanter, and Mr. Siller to offer such an alternative to the study trip. In these times, it's not self-evident to offer such an alternative because the study trip is very popular among the students. Thank you for having the opportunity to gain new experience in the field of tourism, to get deeper insights in the tourism industry. And also to profit from the MCI tourism network and to make the world our classroom, in this case virtually, but thank you for that. So I personally can recommend everybody who is working in the tourism field to do such a trip, because you will get open-minded, and this also broadened your horizon, in this case my horizon. And yes, it's a very unique and exciting experience to do such a trip. So on our first day, we had an interesting discussion with Eric Callender and Richard Porteous. So with Eric Callender, we discussed about the skiing area Whistler. So for me, the main point is that in Whistler, the skiing area is managed by a ski area operator. So the ski area operator owns the whole skiing area, doing also the gastronomy. And this is a thing that is a little bit different to Austria, because in North America, the company who is owning the skiing area have to pay, or the profits with they generated by the which is generated by the ski operator and the hotels are distributed to the stakeholders. And in Austria, it's a bit different. So here the profits usually remain in the hands of the cable car company and get reinvested. So this was very interesting for me to get this insight. And also the view of British Columbia. So we get a deep insight in the vision and mission statement of them from 2020 to 2023. And it was also very interesting how the mission and vision is translated into the strategic goals and the specific measures. And it was also very interesting for us students to see that British Columbia is doing their benchmark on Norway and Scotland. And Norway and Scotland is the benchmark for the development in tourism for them. And another important statement for me, which Mr. Porges mentioned, was you can be only successful when you learn from your mistakes and also from your success. And that tourism is one of the world's most competitive industries. On our second day, we have a nice conversation with Samer El Haider. Samer El Haider is a manager by Emirates Airlines, and it was very interesting to see how they see the things in times of the pandemic and how they react in the pandemic, and how things can work differently. So by Samer El Haider, or with Samer El Haider, we have an interesting discussion, and he also mentioned that it's very important to adapt quickly to new markets and to new market conditions, and be able to make decisions in a short time. So one important word here, a keyword, is dynamic pricing, and also the individual price differentiation, which will be very important for the future. He also mentioned that business travel will always exist, because video conferencing cannot replace the human interaction, and this is very important. And two passwords for the futures are flexibility and agility. Our second stop on the second day was China. So in China, we have an interesting discussion with Markus Schuckert. Markus Schuckert is the expert when we talk about the Chinese market. And he gave an interesting lecture about the Chinese market. And he mentioned that it's very important when you want to target a little thing or a little piece of the Asian market, to know the habits of the Asian people. And it's very important to target the generation or the people on the social media, because in China, social media is the thing. So the Chinese people do everything online, and yes, that was very important to hear. And also that nowadays the social media is part of their life, and they are always online. And yes, so it was very interesting to learn new things about the Asian mentality, the Asian market, and the habits and the expectations they have to the Western world. And yes, you should always keep this in mind when you want to target the Asian market. And on our third day and last day, we had an interesting conversation with George Scaria. George Scaria is a social entrepreneur in Kerala, and we talked with him about the topic sustainability, and it was very interesting again to see their insights, to understand their thoughts about sustainability. And yes, it's very important for them when they do a project to do this with passion and patience. And these are the key drivers in achieving the goals. And Kerala doesn't want to be a tourism destination for mass tourism. Instead of this, they focus on quality in tourism. And he also explained us that the only way to achieve more sustainable is to grow in time. And I think that's an important point which he mentioned. And this is different to Tyrol. So in Tyrol, we have another view of sustainability, but I personally think that the word sustainability will be a buzzword in the future, because in the pandemic, people have the time to think about traveling and how they do the things. And I think they do the things in future differently. And again, the conclusion of our study tour was Abdel. Abdel, as we are allowed to call him, is a tour guide and also entrepreneur in Dubai. And Abdel personally impressed me with his knowledge about the different intercultural issues, and also what is important when it comes to do business in Dubai. And the most important thing is to respect and understand each other. So what are the key findings from my side of this trip? So I really want to say that this trip provided many unique experience and insights in the tourism industry. So each destination was different. And yes, I personally learned from this trip that it's not good to have stereotypes before you go to this country or about this country. And it's very important to, yes, have an understanding for the different cultures and also for the different nationalities, and to get in touch with the people, talk with the people about the things and interact with them. So yeah, what's left? Yes, this trip brought on my horizon. I get more open-minded, and yes, the whole trip was an experience, and with a bag full of memories that will not die to stay forever. So yes, thank you for that. Thank you for the organization. And I always keep this trip in mind. Thank you. Bye-bye.